There are moments when a single act of violence fractures not just a community, but the human psyche itself. In the aftermath, fear becomes infectious, spreading quietly from person to person until it reshapes the way people see one another and themselves. Grief turns to suspicion, compassion curdles into blame, and the desperate search for meaning gives rise to monsters of our own making. Beneath the surface of everyday life, buried in ordinary homes and familiar streets, lies an unsettling truth. When faced with tragedy, we often destroy ourselves, trying to understand it. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. I finally got a chance to watch Weapons, thanks to HBO Max, making me possibly the last person on the fucking planet to see it, or better yet, to talk about it. But fuck it, I'm a puppet without a paying job who just sees movies when he can. Zach Cregger's Weapons isn't an easy movie to summarize. On the surface, it's a mystery about a small-town tragedy. A group of school children vanish, leaving behind one survivor, and a community left in shock. But like Cregger's last film, Barbarian, the real horror isn't in what we see, but in what festers beneath. Weapons is about how grief, guilt, and fear twist people into things they were never meant to be, and how entire communities can quietly destroy themselves, trying to make sense of something that's utterly senseless.
Are you watching?
From the moment the children disappear, panic takes hold of the town. Parents turn on teachers, neighbors turn on each other. The police seem less like protectors and more like blind men stumbling through chaos. There's this slow, creeping realization that nobody really knows what's happening, but everyone needs someone to blame. That's what gives this film its psychological bite. Cregger uses the disappearance as a kind of social experiment. Drop an unthinkable event into a fragile system and watch how fast empathy collapses. The film shows how people under pressure revert to tribal thinking, us versus them, and how fear quickly becomes a weapon in and of itself. At the center of all of this is Justine Gandy, played with raw, shaking humanity by Julia Gardner. She's a good teacher, maybe too good for her own good. Her compassion for her students, especially the one who's left behind, slowly turns her into the town's scapegoat. It's like the more she tries to help, the more she's punished for it. Psychologically, Justine represents the empath in crisis. She feels everything too deeply, and in a community that's emotionally collapsing, that kind of sensitivity becomes dangerous. Cregger seems to suggest that in times of tragedy, people don't want empathy. They want order, answers, and someone to crucify. By the time the rumors and accusations start flying, Justine's sanity is already fraying. She starts drinking again, second-guessing her memories, wondering if maybe she did do something wrong. The horror here isn't ghosts or monsters. It's the way social paranoia seeps into your mind until you start to believe the lies yourself. Then there's Archer, played by Josh Brolin, whose grief feels volcanic. His son is gone, and his pain quickly curdles into anger. Instead of mourning, he hunts. Instead of healing, he lashes out. Archer embodies that very male form of grief, the kind that can't sit still, can't process, can't cry, so it channels everything into control and punishment. He's desperate for someone to blame, and Justine becomes the perfect target. Through him, Cregger digs into how men are socialized to turn vulnerability into violence. It's brutal, but painfully real. The title, Weapons, says it all. Every emotion in this film, love, loss, compassion, guilt, becomes a weapon when misused. The community weaponizes fear. Parents weaponize grief. Even the children, in their strange, dreamlike scenes, seem to become literal extensions of the damage around them. It's not hard to see the metaphor at play. Trauma doesn't just hurt us, it reproduces itself. It infects others. The film's supernatural elements, if you can even call them that, feel less like magic and more like the physical manifestation of shared pain. Something awful happened, and everyone's carrying a piece of it, consciously or not. There's this woman named Gladys in the film, played by Amy Madigan, who moves through the frame like a sort of shadow. She's strange, quiet, and her connection to the children's disappearance grows clearer as things unravel. But even when the movie edges toward explaining her motives, it never fully commits to making her the monster. Because the truth is, she's not the scariest part. Everyone else is. Kreger pulls the same trick that he did with Barbarian. He sets up an external villain, but reveals that the real horror is human nature. Gladys might be the spark, but the fire is already burning inside the town. Like Barbarian, Weapons plays with structure. It hops between characters and time frames, refusing to give us a clear linear path. That choice makes the story feel disjointed at first, but that's the whole point. The fractured structure of the film mirrors the psychological disintegration of a community in the wake of tragedy. By shifting perspectives and retelling events through multiple, often conflicting points of view, the film externalizes the chaos that erupts when shared reality starts to crumble. Each character's story becomes a coping mechanism, a personal narrative constructed to make sense of the senseless. Yet as these accounts overlap and contradict one another, they reveal a deeper truth, that grief isolates as much as it unites. This divided structure functions like a fragmented mind of a collective consciousness. What was once cohesive splinters into individual perceptions, each destroyed by guilt, fear, and denial. The film's nonlinear rhythm evokes the cyclical nature of trauma, how it refuses to resolve, instead replaying itself in different forms until someone eventually confronts it. As the community splinters further, empathy gives way to projection. People fill the gaps in understanding with blame, myth, and paranoia. In this way, the film becomes less about the event itself, and more about the psychic residue it leaves behind. Its structure embodies the impossibility of a single truth after trauma, suggesting that when tragedy strikes, what breaks isn't just the community's peace, but its collective sense of reality. Even the way the movie sounds adds to the discomfort. The long silences, the echoing school hallways, the sound of nothing happening at all. They all create this uneasy tension that mirrors the psychological stillness of grief. In a world where algorithms decide what's remembered, there's still a corner of the internet fighting to feel cinema. Here at Embrace the Film, movies aren't just reviewed, they're dissected, felt, and understood. Where cult oddities, forgotten VHS nightmares, art house meditations, and studio giants are all given the same thing: time, psychological depth, and respect. If you believe film is more than background noise, if you believe movies shape who we are, if you believe physical media still matters, you can help keep this space alive. Over on Ko-Fi, you can support the channel in whatever way makes sense for you. Drop a single tip, the cost of a cup of coffee, or less. No pressure, no tears required. Just a simple way to say, keep going. Become a reoccurring supporter and help fuel deeper dives, better production, and more ambitious projects. Predictable support means more consistent content and bigger ideas brought to life. And because support should feel meaningful, there are rewards. Gain early access to upcoming content, exclusive members-only videos, deeper psychological essays, and more. Curated physical media pulled straight from the ETF archive in monthly mystery boxes, delivered to you. Want your film covered on the channel and moved up the list? Supporters can fast-track reviews of specific titles, and more evolving perks as the channel grows. Every tip helps fund physical media acquisitions, research and writing time, production upgrades, and the continued excavation and preservation of forgotten cinema. This channel exists because of passion, but it grows because of community. If Embrace the Film has ever helped you see a movie differently, if it has introduced you to something strange, beautiful, or unforgettable, if it's reminded you why you fell in love with movies in the first place, consider supporting on Ko-Fi using the link in the description. Help keep physical media alive. Help keep psychological film analysis thriving. Help keep cinema personal. And as always, keep embracing film. At its core, Weapons is less a horror film than a psychological autopsy. Not of a single crime, but of a community's collective breakdown. Zach Cregger's film peels back the layers of fear, guilt, and grief to show how easily the human mind, when wounded, can turn against itself. The supernatural is only a reflection of what's already there, the quiet violence of unprocessed trauma. The disappearance of the children functions as a mass psychological rupture. It's the kind of event that shatters the illusion of safety, a reminder that order and stability are just stories we tell ourselves. What follows isn't just panic, but transformation. Fear mutates into paranoia, empathy into suspicion, and grief into brutal aggression. The film captures this contagion perfectly, how trauma spreads not through touch, but through belief, through what people convince themselves is true when they can't face the uncertainty. Each character represents a different response to psychic pain. Justine internalizes hers, carrying the guilt of others until it basically consumes her. Archer externalizes his, letting it explode into rage and retribution, the two poles of trauma. Self-destruction and projection. Neither leads to healing, only further damage. Cregger uses the town itself as a metaphor for the human psyche. The tidy houses, school hallways, and quiet streets make a festering interior world, much like the mind's ability to appear composed while chaos brews beneath. When the cracks finally show, the horror isn't that the town is cursed, it is that the curse was always there in some form, waiting for the right moment to come to the surface. The film is ultimately suggesting that real monsters aren't external at all. They're the instincts we unleash when pain goes unchecked. The urge to find a scapegoat, to punish rather than understand, to make sense of suffering by creating enemies. In this way, the film becomes a mirror of the human condition. We fear what we can't control, and in trying to control it, we become what we fear. In the end, Weapons is about the cost of that fear. Not the fear of the unknown, but the fear of facing ourselves. The title isn't just literal, it's a diagnosis. When love, empathy, and loss go unexamined, they turn into the very things that will destroy us. The film's ending doesn't really solve anything. The children are found, yes, but they are not okay. The town is in ruins. Everyone's still broken. Cregger refuses to give us the satisfaction of closure, because that's not how trauma works. Some things don't heal neatly. Some wounds just sit there, waiting to be passed on. Weapons is not technically a crowd-pleasing horror film. It's messy, sad, and morally complicated. But that's what makes it so powerful. It's a story about the human instinct to find villains when we should be finding healing. About how fear and loss can turn ordinary people into monsters, and how empathy, the very thing that could save us, is often the first thing that we sacrifice. As I keep saying, at its heart, the film is a mirror, one that forces us to look at how we handle pain, how we treat others when we're scared, and what happens when we let fear run the show. It's not a film about missing children. It's about what goes missing in us when tragedy strikes. Compassion, trust, and the belief that we're still capable of being kind. friends, that's gonna be all for now. If you are interested in this film, I urge you to check it out for yourself and formulate your own thoughts and opinions about it. I hope you come share those thoughts and opinions in the comments. Let me know if there are any movies that you would like to see discussed on this channel. I always love to hear from you guys, and I do my best to try and respond to everyone. As always, I've put a link down in the description to a physical copy of this film, if one exists, that you can add to your collection. Using that link helps out the channel, and that's always appreciated. If you like this video, I urge you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already. I know that some of you watching aren't subscribed, so help out the channel and subscribe. If you'd like to go the extra mile and support the channel even more, we do have a couple options for you to do so. You can join us on Patreon, where you can get yourself early access to future videos, Patreon exclusive content, and access to the ETF Digital Archive. We get a lot of compliments about the VHS collection that you guys see in the background of our videos. Well, we've been hard at work slowly digitizing the collection and creating a place where we can share it with all of you. Thanks to the help of the Plex platform, we can now do just that. This is our way of doing our part in helping preserve that gritty, nostalgic VHS look and feeling before it's gone forever. With Plex, you can stream our VHS collection from anywhere at any time. It's basically like having a streaming service for VHS, which I think is pretty cool. Additionally, if you're tired of adding to your growing list of monthly subscriptions, you can help support the channel on Ko-Fi, where you can drop a single tip, the cost of a cup of coffee, or less. No pressure, no tiers required. But with all the same monthly benefits that you will find on Patreon offered as well. We also have a Mercari store where you can go and get yourself a little piece of the ETF archive. While collecting VHS, Blu-rays, and DVDs over many years, we wind up with lots of duplicates, and we unfortunately can't store them all. So on our Mercari shop, we have all of those for sale. Purchasing those not only expands your collection, but makes room for us to expand ours. All the links for everything are down in the description. Until next time, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.